Good morning, LEX-18 storm tracker meteorologist Tom Ackerman bringing you this severe weather update. We've had rounds of strong to severe storms overnight. I'm sure you've heard them as they've blown through Fayette County, but now Bath County and parts of southern Rowan County have a tornado warning in effect. So if we zoom you out to give you a little better idea of the area that we're working with here. Back here's Lexington, Richmond. You've got strong to severe storms, mainly strong storms with torrential rain down through Stanton and from Camargo and Jeffersonville south and west. But just south of Moorhead, this cell is tracking east around about 50 miles per hour and has the potential, at least we've got some radar indication of a potential tornado there. So let's kick over from the Max Track Live to National Weather Service radar out of Jackson. See if we can get it to queue up for you. There you go. And you can see where you've got that little bit of a notch right there. That's an indication of some potential rotation. As far as the shear rate's concerned, it is staying on the weak to strong side throughout most of the morning, but you see just that little bit of a kink. Every once in a while, we've had some breaks in the line, and we've had a couple of tornado warnings. Had one way up around Pendleton County earlier, and we've got another one, had another one back towards western Kentucky. But as far as the velocity is concerned, right there you can see where those outbound and inbound velocities are kind of syncing up. That would be your area that you want to make the most, pay the most attention to. So now east of Salt Lake, heading towards Cogswell, Zilpo, some of the smaller communities in parts of eastern Bath County, and moving in towards southern parts of Rowan County there. So torrential rainfall, and the potential is there for a little bit of small hail. We haven't had much in the way of hail to be concerned about this morning, and the shear rate, again, is not looking terribly impressive, but still just enough velocity indicated by the radar to prompt that tornado warning. And of course, we've had multiple tornado warnings already this morning, the majority of them outside the viewing area, that one up around Pendleton County. But if you're anywhere east of Salt Lake, now moving right there's Moorhead into southern parts of Rowan County, especially around Cogswell, Lick Fork, the storm tracking east around 50 miles per hour. These are the areas that you want to watch out for and pay the most attention to. And of course, take the precautions that you need to take to ride out the storm. You've heard of the sea duct method. That's get inside. Put as many interior doors and walls in between you and the outside as you can. So close interior doors, get downstairs, get under something. If you don't have a basement, one of the best places you can go in a situation like this is an interior room. So as many walls and doors between you and the outside as you can. Of course, keep away from windows and get in toward the center of your house. So it's called the sea duct method. Just a great way of staying prepared and protecting yourself in the event of severe weather, which we are seeing this morning. The potential is there for the chance to see at least some isolated tornadic activity, which is what we're seeing this morning. Now moving to the east of Bath County, where we've got this tornado warning that goes through 3:15 this morning. So we've got another about 25 minutes on this thing, but the storm itself, if we pop up the radar, is now working its way right on the border. As we zoom in and show you some of these smaller communities, Cogswell again and Zilpo, right there where you've got that little bit of a cutout. That's that indication of some potential for some rotation. And again, not incredibly strong signal as far as the rotation is concerned. We had a better looking return up across Pendleton County when they issued that tornado warning earlier, the National Weather Service out of Wilmington. But if you're in any of these communities now, specifically, if we pop the radar back up, specifically into southern parts of Madison, or southern parts of Rowan County through 3:15 this morning, we've got this tornado warning in effect. Let's zoom you out and give you an idea of what else is going on, because in addition to this, we've got other severe thunderstorms. And, well, look at the breadth of the warnings that we've got here. Let's try to get this out of the way and give you a broader picture. They are kind of broad brushing the severe thunderstorm warning. So it goes from northern Kentucky all the way down through West Liberty. We got this extended severe thunderstorm warning that does include West Liberty and Morgan County. That goes through 3:15 this morning as well. And then if we track you back to the southwest, you're not seeing severe storms, but you're definitely seeing storms that are, again, tracking east. That's heading from Irvin east. So that shows you the arrival times of some of these storms, Tipton Ridge, Furnace, some of these smaller communities as you head out east, even though there's not a severe thunderstorm warning in effect at this point. But if you're anywhere south of Stanton and parts of northern Estill County, southern Estill County, another storm, that one's going to be headed towards Beattyville. And then if we track even farther west, this is where we had some tornado warnings earlier this morning. Springfield, Lebanon, Washington, Marion counties. Harrodsburg is getting a deluge right now, as is Danville. No current severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for these communities, but still the potential is there for damaging wind and torrential rain and frequent lightning. Hail, as we've been talking about this morning, hasn't been as much of a factor. You will probably hear some hail, but I'm talking about the potential for large damaging hail. So they've already trimmed down the tornado warning that's in effect, but the cell is still on the move. So you can see Rowan County through 3:15 this morning, the back edge of it, that eastern side of Bath County, right there on the county line. So some of these smaller communities are going to be impacted by it. The shear rate has picked up a little bit, so you're seeing some weak to strong shear there. And if we look at the shear swath, just kind of gives a history of the storm. Hasn't really shown signs of picking up in intensity back to the west. So this one just kind of popped up with that radar indication, that storm relative velocity showing the greens and the reds, and of course the red an indication of the flow away from the radar site and the green indication of the flow toward the radar site. Latest update shows everything shifting off to the east there. That is the current radar out of Jackson, some of the heaviest rain there. See if we can pop up the Max Track Live Doppler and see how that's looking as far as the live component. Get a closer look at the cell. Yeah, so pretty much just getting into southern parts of Rowan County. If we zoom you out to give you a little more perspective, right there's Moorhead, southern Rowan County, Bangor on the southern side of it. It's just this area right around Cogswell and Zilpo that you need to pay the most attention to as far as this tornado warning is concerned. Goes through 3:15 this morning. There goes that live sweep rolling by. And as well, up to the north, keep an eye out if you're around Rowan County, the northern part, and then popping up into Carter County. This starts to get outside the LEX-18 viewing area. That's that northern edge of these storms. Those tracking east and could pack a punch as well. You definitely have current severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And look at the depth of this warning that the National Weather Service out of Jackson has put out. Starts out around Frenchburg, severe thunderstorm warning, goes all the way to the east end of Morgan County, out past Sandy Hook, and even getting in towards Louisa outside the eastern side of the LEX-18 viewing area. So again, broad picture. We don't have too many severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. There's this secondary batch. If we pop up Louisville's next route, you'll be able to see back to the west that I'm also keeping an eye on. Some of these may graze our southwestern counties. In fact, we just got a severe thunderstorm warning out for Taylor County. That goes through 3:30 this morning. And again, that's Greene County through 2:30 this morning Central Time, so 3:30 Eastern Time. So these back towards Munfordville, again, are also tracking off to the east around about 50 miles per hour. So this one way back towards Munfordville, you can see it approaching Greensburg, some of those eastern, the extremity, the eastern extent of the track, just starting to see it getting in towards the western side of our viewing area. So if you're up this morning, early this morning with me, this is a good time to remain weather aware. Broad picture, if you're just joining in, we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Much of the southern bluegrass and heading into our southern counties there, from Harrodsburg, Danville, all the way down to Crab Orchard, do not have current warnings. Irvin doesn't either, although there's a particularly strong cell out there. Estill County is getting absolutely swamped with torrential rainfall. But as we pop you up to the north, there you can see they've still got the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. That goes from Moorhead east as far as the severe thunderstorm warning goes. And then this they're starting to trim the back edge of the polygon for the tornado warning. This tornado warning that's currently in effect for Rowan County through 3:15 this morning. So if you're anywhere east of that, you want to pay particular attention to it and take cover. The cell has now moved pretty much out of Bath County and is in southern parts of Rowan County there, so around Lick Fork. Absolutely torrential rainfall. And again, the radar indication is not looking terribly impressive as far as the chance for a tornado. Still, where you see that little bit of a break in the shear, and then it does pick up on the south side there. We've still got that, again, tornado warning in effect. So, as we've talked about, this is a great time to download the WLEX-18 Storm Tracker weather app. I know it sounds like I'm selling it, but it's a handy tool to have. It's a free download, and it gives you warnings on your phone. So it'll pop up when you've got a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, a flash flood warning for your community like we're seeing early this morning. Back to the radar. Again, these storms are tracking east around about 50 miles per hour, but we do have a current tornado warning in effect through 3:15 for Rowan County. So if you're anywhere east of there, watch out. Now these storms are going to continue to progress east about 50 miles per hour. So as we drop south, you can see that one around Stanton. If you're down towards Wolfe County, down around Campton, here's a plot of that as far as the eastward track of it. So as you get down around some of these smaller communities, Pine Ridge around 309 this morning, Booth around 310 this morning, and it's moving east. Severe thunderstorm around, potential severe thunderstorm. Right now it doesn't have a warning, around about 50 to 55 miles per hour. So early this morning, some spring action. We've been in the middle of this major drought and haven't had to deal with rain, let alone severe weather all that much. Well, the Plain States have been getting hammered ever since last week, and they headed out to the west earlier in this week, and now we're catching our little bit of it as well. So an extremely compressed tornado warning remains in effect through 3:15 this morning, and that does run through parts of southern Rowan County. But again, trying to get some radar updates here. Again, it's not looking terribly impressive as far as the velocity data, the storm relative velocity data, or even the overall shear rate. It gets weak to strong shear at times, but nothing that's overly impressive. So for the time being, I'm going to go off the air and get a quick drink of water. If we have any additional developments with this tornado warning that's set to expire here in about 15 minutes, we'll bring you updates. But if you're in the eastern path of that storm, take shelter, and I'll be back with you shortly.
For 100 years, NBC.
Good morning. WLEX-18 Storm Tracker meteorologist Tom Ackerman bringing you another severe weather update. This time, we have a tornado warning on the southwestern side of the viewing area. Right here's Bradfordsville and Campbellsville. So we're talking about the southern side of Taylor County, Greensburg, which is just outside the viewing area, and then extending east out towards northern Adair County. Right there's Columbia. So the storm at the moment outside of the viewing area in Greensburg, but the warning does extend and east and clips some of those counties. So it's moving east-southeast around 62 miles per hour and showing some signs of shear there for sure. We've got that tornado warning that's in effect, and that goes until 2:30 Central Time, so 3:30 this morning Eastern Time as far as the timing is concerned on this. So we've got about 20 minutes on it, but this circle that you see right here is an indication of low-level wind shear that's being picked up. If we look at velocity data from the Louisville NextRad, you can see strong winds aloft, but then as we zoom in and show you the storm relative velocity, you can see right there, that area with the latest radar update of the flow toward and away from the radar site. And as those two areas of competing winds tighten up, start to spin, that's where you get that rotation, and that's where you get that potential for a tornado. So again, radar indicated tornado. Zoom you out to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here as far as the storms are concerned. The broader view with the radar, we've got a line of severe storms. It's been essentially a squall line. So We've made it through in Lexington with just some severe thunderstorm warnings earlier. Right there's Fayette County. So a lot of the heaviest weather is now to the south from Danville running out around Berea. We've got a couple of ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings in our eastern counties. That runs from Beattyville out through Jackson. Severe thunderstorm warning for Lee County. So that's in effect. And as well, Morgan County, West Liberty from some of the storms that are out there. I'll pop up the National Weather Service radar out of Jackson to give you a better idea what it's looking like out into eastern Kentucky. There it is. So yeah, a line of strong to severe storms now extending east. So folks that are in line to see these within the next hour or two as they continue to race east around about 50 miles per hour. Paintsville, Prestonsburg, some of those smaller communities out into eastern Kentucky. But of course, the most pressing concern at the moment is that tornado warning that we have in effect. It's been issued by the National Weather Service out of Louisville, and it does include southern Taylor County. So south of Campbellsville, just barely clips the southern part of Taylor County there. As we zoom in to give you some of the smaller communities, you'll be able to see Atchison in there, Burdick, Roman, not sure how it's pronounced. And then as you head out in towards Adair County, northern Adair County, got to take you down south to find Columbia. The county seat there. So we're talking northern Adair County. If you're in the path of this storm, get inside. Get to a lower level of your house. If you have a basement, that's ideal. If you're on a slab or if you're in a manufactured home, put as many walls in between you and the outside as you can. If you have an interior bathroom, that is an excellent place to take shelter from a tornadic storm. Radar indicated, nonetheless, still, even if you don't have a tornado, we could see damaging wind gusts. Generally, we're seeing the potential for 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts. I think the strongest gusts I've seen via the Kentucky Mesonet so far have been pushing 60 miles per hour earlier this morning. But we do have a current tornado warning in effect, and that goes through 2:30 Central Time, 2:30 a.m. Central Time, 3:30 our time for southern Taylor County and parts of northern Adair County. So that's in effect. This entire line has shown generally the potential for straight line winds. You can see additional storms that extend all the way west towards Bowling Green. So right here, of course, is Casey County, there's Liberty, and then Pulaski County. So these storms are heading in your direction. So in the areas that haven't been worked over yet, Stanford as well, down towards Monticello, you guys are going to be dealing with these storms within another hour or so as they continue to race off to the east. But if you're in Taylor County, specifically southern Taylor County or northern Adair County, you need to take shelter and get away from these storms and protect yourself as well as possible. We're down to pretty much just widespread rain in Lexington. This is a good soaking rain for us, but the problem is the leading edge of this has been dangerous. We've had multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, and now we have this current tornado warning that continues to keep an eye, that continues to see the storm moving east now. As we look at the storm relative velocity, you can see that green to red, the indication of that velocity there. If we put up the shear rate, give you a better idea where some of the stronger shear is. So weak to strong shear right on the county line of Greene County and southern Taylor County there as we zoom in, kind of the intersection of those two counties. So this storm just barely clipping southern Taylor County. And the main impact from this, as long as it remains potentially tornadic or even if it's just damaging wind, is going to be the possibility of some damage across northern Adair County from winds. So back to the National Weather Service radar out of Louisville, and you can see that storm is now back to the west. So they've cut off the back edge of the tornado warning, and now it's pretty much just for southern Taylor County and northern Adair County. If you're in the path of this storm, you've heard the sea duct method, close all exterior doors, get downstairs, get underneath something, and of course get into the center of your house, and keep away from windows is another one. So anything you can do to keep yourself from flying debris from straight line winds, because windows are some of the first to go, and then that throws glass. So if you get into an interior bathroom where you can shut the door, that's an ideal spot. If you have a basement, even better. If you've got a neighbor that has a basement and you've got time to get to it, even better yet, or a storm shelter, something like that. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this tornado-warned storm that is now impacting southern parts of Taylor County and moving off towards Adair County around about 50 miles per hour. For now, I'm going to return you to regular programming, and we'll pop back in as necessary.